Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. Last night, I woke up too early this morning. I stayed up too late last night. I had a friend of mine just came over to, we were watching the Braves game last night, and we ended up doing nothing but talking about XRP and Ripple all night. So I think I have officially become an XRP nerd, and I think I've converted some of my friends into XRP nerds because instead of focusing on baseball, we now talk about XRP. Just to go over a couple of the things that we were talking about. I feel like the way that Ripple and XRP, the way that this community kind of works, I think you have some people that just kind of came along they thought that they could get rich quick and become an investor and all that. But then you have some people that get to a different level of, in my opinion, of understanding of what Ripple is doing and what XRP really, the big picture. And what I've seen in people is once they spend enough time around this and really get their mind around how big this really is, it's kind of like you're on a, is it Scientology where they have like different levels of understanding? Well, I feel like when you finally get that final level of understanding the big picture of how huge all this is, it's kind of like you're almost giddy and want to have these conversations with other people that understand it. And that's the kind of conversation I had last night. We talked about things like the fact that neither one of us believes that it's any coincidence whatsoever that you have all of these powerful people, some of which are investors in Ripple, who will not say the word Ripple, will not say the word XRP. You got the Federal Reserve Chairman who we have documentation that he has met with people from Ripple, but he won't say Ripple and won't say XRP. Donald Trump is dancing all around it. You got Christine Lagarde that's got multiple videos describing everything that is Ripple and XRP and not saying the word. Every once in a while she might say the word Ripple, but you've got Christine Lagarde saying it, doing an aside where she says it's not Bitcoin or Ethereum, but she doesn't say, but it is XRP. But it's almost like you see enough of these things and you see enough of some of the documentation and documents and things that are presented by some of the really smart people that I follow on Twitter and show you sometimes. But you start to put all of this together in your mind, and once that package is completely wrapped up and has the bow on it, it's like you have this level of understanding, and when you see the market down, you're not thinking about, oh, this is awful, the market's down. You're thinking about, man, I get to keep buying this stuff. Maybe it'll go down a little further. But those are the kind of things, that is the energy that I have on this channel, and the things that you hear when you hear me talking about XRP. This is not just some thing where I turn this mic on and all of a sudden I'm on stage and I'm giving you something other than what's going on in my own home. My wife gets sick of hearing me talk about XRP. When things really take off, she will not be sick at all. But and that goes for probably a lot of your wives. They get tired of hearing about it because they're more like Tom Cruise in that movie where, what was the guy that said, "Show me the money"? The wives are often like that. That's probably more what my wife is like. But you will, if you're an XRP investor, you'll be showing some money at some point. That's for sure. Well, enough of that. I wanted to start this video off. I wanted you to all go and watch Sam I Am in this right here. Sam I Am. That's his at Ham Eggs in Sam is his Twitter handle. Give him a follow there, but also go and subscribe to his YouTube channel. He's To the Lifeboats is his YouTube channel. Well, he posted this video. Peter Schiff had announced that he was going to do like a live debate on. Says, I'll be hosting the first ever Peter Schiff's Bitcoin Challenge live on YouTube channel on Monday, July 15th. If you think you can change my mind on Bitcoin, here's your chance. Well, I think that Sam has put together a really good video where he does challenge Peter Schiff and points out all the areas where Peter Schiff is wrong about digital assets, and it's definitely worth your time to watch. And he says, I recorded a primer for Peter Schiff's upcoming debate on Monday at 9 p.m., outlining the deficiencies in his position arguments on Bitcoin and crypto as a whole. Please help me get this in front of him. So for those of you that are on Twitter, give him a retweet here so that Peter Schiff can see that. I would pay money to watch Sam I Am debate Peter Schiff on this, because Peter is a really smart guy, but Sam I Am is a really smart guy too. And I don't think in this particular case Peter Schiff is so wrong about digital assets that I think Sam I Am could easily take him to task. that'd be pretty awesome. Maybe we can get Peter Schiff to acknowledge this video. I think we can. Okay, from Chinu Patel at Chinu Patel 29 sent me this. Let's see. Come on, computer. This is a video I think you all should go and watch. It's from Ron Paul, the ex-politician, I guess. But he has, I guess he has his own little channel that he puts information out on YouTube. The desperation increases as fiat money comes to an end. And he does this video, and he's basically talking about a lot of the things about like the Federal Reserve and how ridiculous the interest rate policy is. And he's talking about, can you believe how they're going to have, they're talking about having negative interest rates. He said, this is insanity. Well, I talk about that stuff a lot on this channel. And so sometimes it's good to be able to show you a video from someone as high profile as Ron Paul, so that you can go and hear it from someone else. And he's a very smart guy. I wished that he had won the presidency. This guy would have turned the Federal Reserve upside down. He just never had. I don't know that he had the personality for it. I always thought that might be his problem. Okay. From Coin Paprika, I wanted to show you these. Let's look at the market in general. Let me see here. Market overview. No, not that one. I'm sorry. Come on now, computer. Let's do it. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry. All right. So just as an FYI, I was able to get some XRP this morning at about 31 cents. So I feel really good about that. But I just wanted to show you how the market has taken a hit. It's gone below 300 billion. Excuse me. And I see that as, like I said, I see that as my buying opportunity. I continue to buy every time I see this thing dip like this. If you remember, those of you that were here back in, I believe, December, this market got down to as low as 100 billion. You want to feel sick to your stomach now. You should have been there then. What we're experiencing now is a good pullback on some of the things that we've seen over the last few months. But I believe it's the setup, and I believe the setup is for altcoins coming soon, and Bitcoin too. But I think you're going to see more from altcoins than you have seen so far. Next, from Crypto Cobra at Gario_Gary sent me this. Now, this is from the Crypto Dog. He's a big guy on Twitter, 152,000 followers. So he's obviously no dummy. Let's see what his thing is. STEM PhD dropout, whatever that means. But the guy has a lot of followers and obviously has some good things to say. Alt total market cap resembles an ascending broadening wedge. While certainly not a guaranteed bullish signal, the last time we saw one of these in crypto, there was quite a pop. And so I just wanted to show you that, and he's got a link to the patterns that he's talking about. And then I got this from Mr. B, XRP, at XRP Mr. This is a video that was going around yesterday, and I watched it. I thought it was pretty interesting myself. What they're talking about, and that you can go, it's Patty Stash, at Patty Stash. And what he's talking about here is this the history, how since 2014 the altcoins have bounced back and forth on these two parallel lines here. And he's basically saying it would be, in his opinion, that history should repeat itself, or there's a good chance that history will repeat itself and that it'll bounce right off of this line again. And he was showing how we had just hit this line in the last day or so. And so it's worth going and watching that if you haven't seen that video yet. And then Cryptonary put this out. A few observations from the past few weeks. Bitcoin's concept as a long-term store of value is becoming more and more prominent. XRP is still very much in train track mode. What does this mean? It means you can't have a high-speed bullet train running effectively unless the train tracks have been laid down and foundations are set. Now, this reminds me of something. I mentioned yesterday the men who built America, and what XRP and Ripple remind me of. This is what I think of when I think of the past year or year and a half, really the past 7 years. I see that Ripple has done what the Vanderbilts of the world did, the J.P. Morgan, in laying train tracks across the country. The money was not made until those train tracks were in place. Just like with J.P. Morgan, I think it was J.P. Morgan, the oil pipelines, there were oil pipelines that had to be run, and it wasn't until those pipelines were connected and the infrastructure was in place that you could turn on the value, which was to being able to move things across those railroad tracks and being able to move oil through those pipelines. And that's how I see XRP. I see XRP and Ripple. I see Ripple as having spent the last 7 years connecting all of these different rails, payment rails, and now we're getting closer and closer to them actually being able to use those payment rails on a large scale. And that is the way I see it. But the one difference is I believe that the money and the titans that will come out of what Ripple has done will be able to swallow the titans that came out of those other eras, like the J.P. Morgans and the Vanderbilts. I believe that there's going to be more wealth created with this than anything that the world has ever seen. Okay, so next here he says, however, what this has displayed is that XRP moon boys are weak. They were never in it for the tech. As soon as the other projects surged off announcements, their so-called faith in Ripple and XRP wasn't what they said it was. You're wrong there. Mine was and is. Just like the bear market filtered out many weak Bitcoin moon boys, past month has done the same to XRP fans. However, the strong and objective investors remain unmoved and as bullish as ever. That does describe me. And I do agree with what he's the gist of what he's saying here. I never was in it for the tech. I'm in it to win it. But I'm in it for the investment. I'm not like all swallowed up in the technology of Ripple. I'm fascinated by it, but I didn't come here for the tech. I came here to get rich. I mean, I've made that very clear. I came here, I invested in digital assets in 2015 or 13 because I literally, I've told this story on this channel. I literally told my wife, if I'm right about this, then one day we'll be able to send our XRP to a brokerage account like an E-Trade or a Charles Schwab. And when that day comes, the world will have changed. And if my calculations are correct, I will be healthy, wealthy, and wise. Okay. And then he goes on. XRP has a more unique POC consensus, as does XLM, which its movements will differ from BTC and Ethereum. Only if when XLM outperforms XRP should you be worried. With regards to Altseason, which I'm not too worried about that. With regards to Altseason, it is still very much in the cards. However, if there's one thing the past 18 months has confirmed, it's that you can only rely on the crypto market to be unpredictable. I agree with that. If everyone, including us, is anticipating and expecting an altcoin run, are the institutions really going to make it that easy? who knows? We'll see how this unfolds. But one thing that my gut tells me is that it will unfold. I'm a digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that a lot of what he's saying here is right. But I do believe that XRP is in train track mode. I believe at some point all those tracks are going to be laid, and you and I are going to see what happens when that switch is flipped and it's all turned on. Now, they may do that in a measured fashion and do it slowly and turn on different rails. I don't know how that'll work. But there's one thing I'm convinced of, and that is that XRP is the one, and I've been right all along. Thank you for listening.